Three Academy Award winners all in one movie. Shouldn't we say sign me up? Let's talk about it. Here's my review of The Little Things. Welcome back, everybody, to Too Much to Watch. I am your host, Sean. I have been away for a little while with the holidays and kind of what's been going on in the world and work. I've just been kind of taking a little time off, trying to think about some stuff with the channel and some movies. Lo and behold, as you well are aware, that HBO and Warner Brothers decided to put Warner Brothers' entire movie log this year on HBO Max, their streaming service. So I was able to sit down and watch The Little Things over the break. I have some thoughts on the movie I kind of wanted to go over and just give my review. I will try not to spoil specifically the ending. I will talk about a few points of the movie. Some good, some not so great. And just kind of give my overall thoughts if it's something you should watch. So the movie follows three characters: Denzel's Joe Deacon, Rami Malek's Jim Baxter, and Jared Leto's Albert Sparma. This movie was written and directed by John Lee Hancock. Had a decent past. I wouldn't say a stellar directing past. He has written like The Blind Side, which got some critical praise. He's directed things like The Highwaymen, Saving Private Ryan, Saving Mr. Banks, The Founder with Michael Keaton. So he's got some good in him. I think he did The Alamo as well, which was not so well received. So he's got some hit and misses, much like most people in Hollywood do. But he takes a stab at detectives movies. This really, to me, this movie, right off the rip, was very much something to be interested in. The actors alone, you're going to want to go see it for. But does the movie hold up? So the movie, to me, definitely feels like it's shooting for like one of those 90s style, early 2000 like detective thrillers. One of the movies that popped in my head was like, say, Along Came a Spider. But specifically, and I have seen this throughout the internet, it was definitely shooting for some type of a Seven vibe. Kind of dank, dark, graphic killings. I will say that in this movie, the deaths of certain people aren't really to the level of gore and grossness, say, of Seven. But it's definitely shooting for that. For sure. There is some darkness to it, but it shooting for it, but doesn't quite make it to me. I do feel like this movie definitely wanted to be Seven. I think with the grisly, dark nature, kind of seedy hotel rooms throughout this. The death scenes are not so much scenes, but the crime scenes are somewhat grisly. Very much, if you've seen Seven, you kind of know how the crime scenes in that movie go. But it's definitely shooting for that slower paced rollout of a detective movie. So it follows Joe Deacon, Denzel Washington's character, who was kind of a washed up, burned out detective in LA. He's since moved on to be somewhat of a deputy patrolman in a smaller town in California. He gets called up to Los Angeles to deliver some evidence. And gets kind of sucked into an ongoing case with the young hotshot detective in Rami Malek's Jim Baxter. Through the movie, we kind of start to get a sense that Denzel just can't quite get rid of things in his past. Circumstances come around, and they essentially team up to help. He knows he can see kind of the little things, if you will, to kind of put people away. We kind of find out through the movie that he was a decorated detective in his past, but some things have happened and we don't quite know right off the bat, but we do end up finding out kind of the reason why he's burned out, washed up, and no longer with the LA Detective Department. So, we kind of go through this movie learning those things kind of slow rolled. Like I said, this is very much a detective movie. If you've seen trailers, This is not an action-packed thrill ride at all. I think I texted a buddy of mine thinking that, oh, this might be a next Man on Fire or something for Denzel. Certainly not that. If you've got 2.5 hours or 2 hours, 15 minutes, this will take you some time for sure. It's hard not to be excited about the screen presence of three Academy Award winners. Denzel and Rami Malek are together a lot of the movie. They do really well. You can kind of see he's teaching the young hotshot, very determined, very dedicated detective, and Rami Malek trying to get these cases and trying to help him see some things, and both kind of team up to tackle these cases of murders throughout L.A. Some strange choices through this movie, and I'll get to kind of some specific ones. I do overall think this was a decent movie. I can see why this was put out in January, or was going to be put out in January. It did hit the theaters. It did make some money in theaters that are open. But if I watched it, much like many people watched it on HBO Max. Some of the interesting choices, I feel like the powerhouse of the acting is kind of overstated, or kind of right where you think. I mean, there's a couple scenes in which all three Academy Award winning actors are in a scene together. You can't help but feel the star power there. I feel like some choices made by some of the actors are a little suspect, specifically in Jared Leto. As much as I like Jared Leto and I am excited for what Morbius could be, and watching him in previous movies like Dallas Buyers Club, where he won the Academy Award, he's a very good actor, but I do think he's very much a character actor. I think some of his decisions or some of his choices in this, and hearing some of the choices made for the Joker, albeit Suicide Squad wasn't that great of a movie, I think I wouldn't say overrated, but there's just something there. When you watch this movie, he's got a prosthetic nose. He's got a slow limp in his walk. He's really shooting to be the creep in this, but I'm just saying, like, he's shooting to be that character. Like, you're like, oh, that guy probably did it, which is, they're kind of shooting for that, so you kind of get there. It's not so much they're trying to figure out who did it, although it is a detective. They really hone in on he's the suspect, he's the guy who did it. It's so clear that he's probably their suspect throughout this as soon as he gets on screen. And it's kind of given away a little bit in the trailers and things like that. You obviously know something's up with him. So I think that some of the issues there are I think he tries a little too hard. There was definitely some overacting in this character. I do think Jared Leto is an incredibly talented actor. But I think the word is overacting. I wouldn't say overrated, definitely overacting. Another issue I had is Joe Deacon's backstory. I think the issue with his backstory and what you do find, and I guess I will spoil this a little bit, just kind of, throughout the movie, we find that some of his old precinct buddies and his old captain really don't like him, really have a hatred for him, and you kind of went, oh man, I was waiting for like corruption or something along those lines. One of the reveals is that he does mistakenly kill someone, which is not good. But the first kind of reveal is that he worked too hard, he pressed himself too hard, and he had a heart attack and almost died. And I actually paused the movie and looked at my wife and said, that was it? That was why the whole precinct hates him, his captain hates him. He was a hard worker and he was obsessed, and Rami Malek is doing the exact same thing, just he hasn't made that egregious step yet in his career. So I just thought that reveal was a little odd. I won't spoil the ending. I thought the ending was incredibly suspect as well. I think they were going for a massive twist. I don't think it hit. I don't think that twist landed very well at all. I think they were trying to leave you kind of guessing, maybe vague, not so much for a sequel, but I think they were really trying for something there, and it just didn't work for me. I think you know, sometimes you can be a victim of your own like craftiness or your own cleverness. I think they were definitely trying for something clever. It just didn't work. I would strongly suggest this is not a movie for kids. It's R-rated. I strongly suggest I would go ahead and if you have HBO Max, go ahead and give this a watch. I wouldn't go run out and sign up for HBO Max for this movie in particular. If you don't have it, but if you do, you know, that's a whole nother discussion about HBO Max and what they're doing with their movies, with the Warner Brother movies and things like that. But for the consumer at the moment, it's not a bad thing. So you get a first run movie right on your TV day one. I think it's still on for a little bit longer if you can. I would go ahead and get it. If you don't have HBO Max, don't run out and sign up for a subscription. I don't think this one of those movies in particular is worth a new sign up. But I had it already. I watched it. I'm not upset that I watched it. For me, this is a one and done. I think any Denzel movie I'm going to stop and watch, no, regardless. I not upset that I saw it. I don't necessarily need to watch it again. But there are some good points of it. The acting is really good, specifically from Denzel and Rami Malek. I think their interactions are pretty great. So that is my thoughts on the little things. I'm going to try to keep these videos a little shorter than I used to. I'm going to kind of put out some reviews when I can, when time permits. Go ahead and leave me comments below what you thought of this movie. Like, subscribe, and I'm anxious to hear what people have to say. I tried to stay away from other reviews. Tried to kind of go in blind and not really get somebody else's thoughts since it's been out for a little while. No reviews have come out on the internet already. But go ahead and, like I said, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what your thoughts are on the movie. And hope to see you soon. Gonna do some more videos in the future. Peace.